This was an eye-opener for many households.
Women had to take care of the family members who were at home, and then also take care of the children who were attending online schools, and cook additional meals for the family.
In 2020, job and income loss was at an all-time high, and the burden of care work in the home skyrocketed. The dynamics changed, both in households and workplaces. Traditional roles and responsibilities shifted, challenging age-old gender roles and expectations.
There hasn't been a concrete study done during the COVID pandemic, but the Women and Media Collective conducted a study on unpaid care work 2019 and 2020, and we found that the women were spending almost 12 and a half hours per day, while the men were spending around 7 and a half hours a day.
That's a significant increase from a 2017 national study, which estimated unpaid care work to be approximately 5.7 hours per day for women and 1.5 hours for men.
A lot of the social support systems, social and economic support systems that could not function during the lockdowns contributed to this.
Women had more challenge and difficulties in balancing the work life and the family life, because both were falling under one umbrella, in one area. But on the other hand, we can also see that work are being shared among men and women in some areas where the social transformation has taken place already.
There had been in some households relatively more engagement of men in taking on some of the care work.
While men began to partake in more unpaid care work, this phenomenon may have later been curbed by two factors: the higher rates of job loss experienced by women and the unexpected economic crisis that followed.
Most certainly, I think we can immediately bring in the large numbers of women who are in the informal sector.
What we could observe is also, particularly when it comes to SMEs, small medium enterprises, women were employed in the production units. So when they have to reduce the productivity, there is no other option. It's the women who have to lose the job. After that, from the COVID, we just moved back to the economic crisis. We moved on to the economic crisis situation. That also sort of compelled the men to take up the external workloads.
Certainly, I think the pandemic was an eye-opener for many men to recognize the amount of work, amount of care work that needs to be done for a household, for a family to function, to survive. But I think it's something that we can build on, because we need to also look at other factors. For example, parental leave. We can have different kinds of, including in children's education, in the fact that a household is run by everybody's contribution.
As more research is conducted on unpaid care work, social and policy interventions are explored, and as women begin to leverage digital means to boost their incomes, there is hope that the pandemic will leave a ripple effect on society. In the long run, however, did the pandemic leave a lasting impact on gender roles?
There was a change in the gender role of men, but for women, I don't think any particular change happened in terms of their gender role.
It's difficult to say whether the COVID pandemic and the lockdowns changed gender roles forever. I think it's something that needs both social and policy interventions. It has been a kind of a journey in understanding relationships and obligations within the household.